Okay, so greetings everyone. So I would like to welcome you to the event. So today conducted by our institution's Innovation Council. Today's our topic is angel investment and venture capital funding. So have you ever heard of these words, angel investment or venture capital? I think you are aware of venture capitalism. Capital. So whenever we come across a word called a capital, so that means there is a business plan and one is how to invest in that business plan. Obviously they are going to develop a business or any kind of innovation strategies. So today we are going to see about different involvements, how this angel investment and followed by venture capital is going to take place. Because here we see, you might have heard of a thing called as a startup. I believe you do. And also we have to understand startups are more riskier. So in case if you are developing a startup, you don't have your own money. So because you can't just invest much amount of money from your pocket. Obviously you need to find someone who can invest in your dream, or we can say your innovation. So there we would be requiring the investors. So those investors are nothing but here we are going to call them as angel investors. So that is simply nothing but idea is yours, but risk is going to be theirs. So you might be thinking about one particular question. If idea is ours and risk is theirs, so how they are going to benefit. So obviously they are going to become a major stakeholders. So why they are going to invest in your idea. So later on what happens, as you are going to scale your company or we can say any kind of a startup, as that is going to grow, obviously you need to expand, right? If business is going well. So there you are going to observe venture capitalism. So once a business is established, you say that it is running very well. And after that it had grown well and turnover is very good. So let's say you have kept a company in Hyderabad and it was running pretty well. So you have a numbers on your paper. So each and every year my company has been doing many profits. So it has been for consecutively 5 years. Now you want to expand to Chennai or Bangalore. So multiple expansions need to take place. So that also comes with a cost. So there you are going to observe this venture capitalism is going to take place. So that's what the difference is meant for. Angel investing is a very starting stage of entrepreneurship. So where there is the idea which is going to be pitched from one person, they would not have sufficient money. So you need to be seeking this investment from one particular individual or an organization who are going to start potentially the operations of that company. So we are going to deal with lot of things in this angel investment, and most of the things you are going to observe who are going to be designed as this early stage entrepreneurs, and also we are going to observe how the areas would be, who are the angel networks, and where does this venture capitalism is going to come from. So whatever the thing now we are going to learn, it is more in economical context and business context. Of course, even you might question if this is being an economics or business. So what is with us? You have already a healthcare innovative startups, right? Did you know any kind of innovative startups in the healthcare? Digital health. So let's say in case of a digital health, so some consumer reliable products, just like Tata 1mg, improvement. Haven't heard of that? So you know where you can order medications? They're online. So obviously you might have gone into the pharmacy. So then you have one question, what makes it more innovative? Obviously, in case if you want a simple medication, you would just go and you would ask for the medication. It may or may not be present. So here what happens is, in case of this digital platform, you would know what other alternative medications were there with different brands, but would be following the same kind of generic composition. And also you would find about information about the disease, and also any kind of adverse reactions that would happen, and what are the times where you were required to consult a doctor. So because you would not know all inclusive details about the medications. So this digital platform not only going to provide you with medications, but as well as it is going to provide you with the valuable information. So write about the disease, about the drugs and its profile, and any kind of some special considerations that one need to take. So all these are going to be done through digital platforms. So these are a kind of things which are usually pitched up as a very great ideas, So all great ideas would require a very great investment. So that's what the important factor comes up, money. So that's what he would say. Anybody who has a very great vision, like to develop any kind of business, obviously you would be acquiring the most important factor, legal tender. That is nothing but simply a tangible legal tender called as money. So that is the prime important stages. We are going to see how some of the healthcare startups have happened and how did they become success and how did they acquire that funding and later on how they have progressed. So these are nothing but just like a series of case studies. Sometimes we have to know, you are going to have an idea for a startup, but nobody is going to offer you like 10 crores or 20 crores at the start just because you have an idea. There is a thing called as a pilot study, so which you would be making right before going into the actual study. So that means here you have to test your idea. So if that has been progressing well, later on investments are going to get poured. So this is all going to be the series of startups what we are going to be observed now. So let's say here what is going to be the healthcare factors when it comes to the startups. So here we are saying it's not about billions of dollars. Here we are talking about trillions of dollars. 12 trillions of dollars. So where this business could be occurring by the end of 2030. So all the digital innovations have been coming up, and nowadays everybody was just simply speaking about two things. It has become a common: AI and ML, artificial intelligence and machine learning. And obviously there are other quite few things. What they would be saying about is LLM, LLM, large language models. So that is nothing but you are scanning something, but how you would know that it is accurately taking all the picture? So that means if it is scanning a full picture, how would you know that individual parts? There is a thing called as a labeling. What you would do in your human anatomy and physiology. So you are going to label the parts. So if I am going to take the picture, would it be automatically labeling the parts? In general picture, I am saying. But in case of this digital health platforms, if you are going to take a picture, so let's say that could be like an X-ray or anything, even a minute changes can also be detected and labeled. Even there are a couple of startups which have happened, so that are completely focused on diagnostics. Because in our India, the most common communicable, what we can say is transmissible, and we can say a very dangerous disease is tuberculosis. So in this tuberculosis, a lot of people have been suffering for a long time, and there are higher mortality rates as well. So in those people, it had become really difficult to identify the extent of damage in the lungs. So if that is going to have a very lengthy damage, obviously you can't do anything. But these kind of AI tools have come forward, and they have actually made an accurate prediction. So which area of lung had been damaged, so how extent the inflammation has happened. Based on that, you can consider this percentage has been damaged, the patient is still in a safe form. So that means even if you administer medications, that would go well without any mortality causes. So there are different kind of startups that have been there, and most probably genomics, because every time we would say recent advancements are coming with any genetic causes. So here we can say lot of data. I think you know about statistics, right? I want to know, nowadays you see a people who have been burdened with many kinds of diseases. Example, diabetes. So let's say you say that your mother or father had diabetes, but some next generation kid might get. So that is called like an epigenetic factors. So that is even related to the environment. But some say that if mother and father had a diabetes, obviously you would have a greater chance of diabetes. So let's say if we are going to modify whether if it is a genetic factors or other epigenetic factors that are going to be coordinating our disease condition. So for that also we are having a certain tools. So that's what here we are going to take a set, and we are going to examining a lot of sets, and then it is going to make a clear picture. So if you give me any kind of a test, so obviously from my whole big sample, I would be able to analyze the data set, and then I can come to a conclusion. Just like I am conducting an examination, if an examination is easy, obviously a lot of people are going to get high scores. And later on, if one is going to give an individual paper, I can compare with the whole class. So then I can say if the performance was good or bad based upon an individual. So if the paper was easy, that fellow did not do vice versa. So atlaga here we are going to see this AI platforms are going to detect any changes. So that is with the disease modeling changes and also with the therapeutic interventions. So all these models have been occurring, and different angel investment and venture capital roles, and most probably that's what I'm saying. The very first thing in our business is called as a seed funding. So from the viewpoint you can understand the seed. Just like if you want to grow a plant, like you are going to plant the seed, right? So this is the very first phase. You just go and approach and say that I have an idea and I just want money. So where you can invest and we can just check out if this is going to work. And later on that is going to be progressive with the larger seeds. We call that like a rounds. A round, B round, C round. So what are the rounds are meant for this? As the rounds are going to increase, the investment value is going to increase. Let's say I have invested 5 lakh rupees in your idea. So that turned out to be pretty well. So it was doing a turnover like around 30 lakhs. So now I believe that whatever the investment I had made is actually leading into very good benefits. So now what I'm going to do is, this is good. Now that is going to enter into the round A. So where instead of 5 lakhs which I have invested, this time I am going to invest like 50 lakhs. Because I believe your business does well. So again if it is going to have a very positive note, again at this time I might invest like 2 crores. Because at each and every round we are going to take certain amount of time and see if the business had been working out. So let's say if you are going to see with a lot of examples where you can able to observe investment changes have happening in case of digital health and in case of telemedicine. You might not believe, but in case lot of developed countries, here we can see the physicians who have been in a very larger hospitals, they have app for themselves, so where they can communicate. Instead, they would not be communicating in WhatsApp. So that is very preciously made predictive analytics, and also they have a very encrypted data where the communication happens between only the physicians. So they are going to if one is having any autoimmune disease, so let's say rheumatoid arthritis, so that occurs to the joints, and if that had progressed outside the joints, it may even cause idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis. It occurs to the lungs. So that means whenever I need to go to a doctor, I might go to a rheumatologist and what I mean to say that is for immunologist. So here we are going to see for rheumatoid arthritis, and my lung has damaged, again I need to go to the pulmonologist, and even I have my own family doctor, so in case of general wellness. So there is a connection between the three people. But here what happens is, simply we would not allow our health records to be taken in a very public domain, because even if you are sharing something in WhatsApp, first that reaches to the server, who might know that it will be going towards the information. So for that reason, here we have a very secured apps, so where the communication happens between the physicians. So those kind of apps were there, and AI diagnostic tools were there, as we were speaking earlier. And also here we have consultation apps. So just like have you booked an appointment, Practo. When I open the Practo, even you give reviews also. Would you recommend the doctor or not? So based on, we have that gut feeling to look up on the reviews. If we see the reviews are very good, like 95% or 96%, then only we go to the doctor. So that is nothing but it is using a digital platform to assess the practice of physician. So all that was happening, so that was turned out to be really good. And also in case where macro trends were there, here you can able to observe what were the 2025 highlights. So you can see some kind of health called as a Charter Health. So initially they have secured a fund of like $8.1 million. Of course that's going to be a very huge funding. So in this case here you can see it is ventured by this Google Ventures and also Obvious Ventures. Yes, even Google will also support any kind of a new ventures. But the thing is, like once they are going to support and the model have been turned out well, they are going to be amalgamating this. And also we can have chai discovery. So do not it should simply like a chai. So where you can able to observe this is nothing but AI-led drug discovery. So it's nothing but a drug discovery pipeline. So where you can make a clinical interpretations and also store the data accuracies. So only store cheskuneve, like here we have mentioned as a chai. And also TrueMeds, as we have said, it is a Indian telehealth startup. So all these are going to be supported by different kind of ventures. One cannot actually support a whole venture. So obviously that is going to be funded by group of ventures. So all these have been supporting the digital health. And also you can see AI impact. So what is AI going to do? So automatically what happens is, nowadays what AI has been doing, like you are asking a question, even we use ChatGPT, and those are usually called like a chatbots actually. So people have even a personal doubts also. I mean, decisions you need to make in your life. So should I go to this college or to that college? Which country is better? Or yeah, even locations also. All have been using these chatbots. But here what happens is AI is going to sum up the information and it is going to give you a decision, right? This is better over the another. So here also what happens is they are using the sophisticated AI tools, using large language models. That means it is collecting all the evidence related to one particular matter and it is synthesizing its own opinions. So whenever you are going to post your opinion, obviously that is going to calculate its opinion and it's going to deliver it to you. So in that way what happens, if I am going to make the right decisions, the chance of errors are less, miscalculations are less. Obviously that's going to save money instead of making a very blunder decision. So all those things are happening and fundraising had been increased day by day, and we can see most probably geographic expansions. So when we say as a geographic expansions, like there is one thing called as a FDI. Have you ever heard of that one? FDI, foreign direct investments. So have been happening. So that means here our India had been not only just secluded to ourselves, where the investments are even being done by the international ventures. So at this point of time, here you can expect some international trends have been launching products in India. So where the funding comes from their own country, and but the target of the products is going to be in India. So that is one reason, and also most probably you can see because we have a human resources capital, and but we would not just go into the entrepreneurship. So that's what we are going to lack. Human resources are there, intelligence is there, capital is there, but ours is job first, because job poses less risk compared to entrepreneurship. So that's what we have mentioned. Even though we have a very talented pool, yet the ventures have been very less. So that is one of the down point for us. And also we can say there are other kind of capitals where you are going to observe data platforms, AI and precision medicine. There is a recent one thing called as a precision medicine. That means like it is a other thing we are going to call it like a personalized medicine. Instead of like following any standard protocols and rules. So that means how it had been going well upon you. So all those individualized tests and what you are going to say make assessments are being done, and according to that and how the drug would be acting upon you. All these factors have been taken into play before formulating a new kind of approach for your treatment. So that's what personalized medicine, and AI is aiding in that personalized medicine. So for that reason also, most of the ventures are interested in putting money into the AI. So this is one of the digital funding that has happened. So this is also an exorbitant money. So here we can able to see this analysis. So where the money has even gone to $900 million. So just write it down. Here we can say $100 million close to $1 billion. So obviously here we can see all these are most focused upon the diagnostics, personalized medicine, and also initial levels of patient assessment. So just like I am collecting all the data, so I would know the demographic details and what kind of population are enrolling. So what kind of services are needed. If all senior citizens are enrolling in one platform, obviously I need to make a plan so that is deliverable to that elderly people. So all the patient related instructions, everything is focused on people who are actually using that platform. Just like I want to give an example about the analytics. You search about a shoe, or like you search about any kind of an earphones in one website, just like an Amazon. And after that you just go into other websites, still you would get an advertisements about the product which you have searched. Like you might be going to some other website, but you have an advertisements of your previous searches. How does it happen? Through analytics. Because that analytics tool is going to assimilate the data from you, and it is going to target you, and it is going to present with the ads. So that is nothing but this analytics is also being used by the AI, where it is going to detect, okay, these are the patients, so these are our target population, so we need to have an instructions or any other kind of like that is going to aid in the treatment. All the parameters which are ready for the target population. So whether that is a small kids or even it could be an elderly population. So that particular specifications were also being present, and yeah, I just want to show you this one particular. This one. So there is I would like to point out one specific case study. So this is called as a Geni 3. So that Geni 3, so this is one AI platform that had been enabled to Bangalore. So where you can see this from the world, like we might able to make a guess. So it is targeted for mothers. So those who would want to be a mother, like planning for a pregnancy, or those who have been in a pregnancy, and after childbirth, care instructions, immunizations, and everything. So this is nothing but a personalized tool app. So where you can able to observe, like if one would want to be a pregnant, so like they are going to enter all the information related to that particular individual. And also here we can see if they are in one particular pregnancy status, they are going to enter which trimester they are being, what kind of medications they have been receiving. Based on that, they are going to get the care instructions, personalized care instructions. So when you need to take the medication, so automatically it is going to calculate and say when you are going to take the doctor appointment. Just like it is going to give you alarm. So doctor appointments were there, and in case if you are entering any kind of discomfort and everything, automatically it is going to alarm you and saying that it is recommending for more and more appointments. So when it would be requiring for you, you can even put all the tests and everything into the app. So finally that is going to give all-round benefit to the mothers. So that's going to happen in that, and this is going to be more in monitoring devices. So where even that is going to monitor the mother and as well as with the baby's health. So this is one of the classic example that was there. And AI diagnostics, this is also called as a Cure. So Cure AI. So where you have been able to observe more probably that company has been with a value of 264 million. So whenever we look into the numbers, obviously because here we are talking about investment, so here we have to understand these platforms are making a very great considerable profits. So in this case here you can see most probably it is going to serve 50 million patients. Because whenever you are going to bring any digital health platforms, the thing they are going to ask is how much turnover would it make and how many consumers that have been served. And the other most important example is, are you able to manage your consumers? So that means, are you able to deliver the services? So because some kind of startups have utterly failed just because they could not able to manage the services. They could not run because, like you might have observed in the economics, right? Supply versus demand. So obviously when the demand has been there, automatically you have to comply. So you need to provide in a very good supplyable format. But if that doesn't happen automatically, the consumer feedback is going to get worse. So automatically the businesses have been failed. So such kind of things have happened. And also there is one particular problem in case of business. So that is called as a lemons problem. I think nobody have heard it. Yeah, you know lemon. So it's not related to any nimbu. But what I mean to say that is, lemons problem is nothing but you are a customer and I am a seller. Like I am selling a product. I don't know certain things and you don't know certain things about the product. So that means there is a misinformation has been happening where whenever these consumers are taking the product, they are utterly dissatisfied. And obviously they would feel that the product which they have purchased is of very less viable use. So atla andukane em chestunnaru, like lot of things have been happening whenever new kind of startup was there. So here it is called as a MVP, minimum viable product. So anything that should start have to be there for a certain period of time. Then only it is good. Or else that is going to destroy. Okay, so we'll just conclude this